Hello and welcome on Thomas Geiger Car. Today with a very special version of the new Mercedes S-Class, the S680 Guard. Guard stands for highly protected limousine for VIP carriers, for chancellors, kings, queens, and even the Pope is gonna drive that vehicle. What makes this car a tank in a fur coat? What is done to be the most secure vehicle besides the beast of the US president, and how this vehicle feels and behaves? That's what we're gonna figure out here on Thomas Geiger Car. On the first glimpse, the Guard looks like a standard S-Class. Luxurious, prestigious, glossy, present. But if you take a closer look, you realize some tiny but very important differences. Especially here in the window graphics, since the glass is about 6 centimeters thick, you have a different graphic. And if you open the door, it's not only heavy, even if it's electrically powered. No, it's also very, very thick. But easy to close, since there is a special motor built in, so you're always free to move. If we walk around the car, we see the flag posts to show that there are important people inside. We have the flashers like every police car, but overall it is an anonymous car that is not sticking out of the crowd, so you don't know which car to hit, which is the best way to save the life of the occupant. Talking about saving the lives, Mercedes has lots of experience in armoring vehicles, and there is a close relationship with the authorities that prove that this car is really safe. Mercedes is promising VR10, that is the highest standard for a civil car at the moment. And this promise is proven by the authorities. There is a special test procedure where the car is shot with over 300 rounds of sniper weapons and all that you can imagine, and also 12.5 kilo of plastic explosives are ignited next to the car, and nothing can harm the occupants. For sure, there is no occupant inside, but there's a special dummy built like the human body, even with the skins and with the bones, and this dummy came out of the fire that was definitely not friendly, unharmed. And if you look, for example, at this door, you see how tough these tests are. From the outside, the glass is totally shattered, but if you go around and look at the inside and feel at the inside, there is absolutely nothing. Can't wait to drive that vehicle, see how the most safest spot in the automotive industry feels from behind the wheel. After we learned so much about the safety of the Guard, we want to check out the luxury, because even as a Guard, it is still an S-Class and still should provide a comfortable ride. So opening the very heavy door and sliding on the back seat like the future German Chancellor will do in a short time. And yes, feeling at home immediately and feeling a proper S-Class comfort and space. There is not much space missing, even if we have this protective cell mounted underneath the original metal sheets. But beyond that, it is really all the gadgets that you know from the S-Class, all the amenities are still there, and most probably it's the most comfortable tank you can ride. Before we're able to enjoy the power of the V12, we just have to do a little workout, because the doors are pretty heavy, even if they're electrically supported. They're weighing almost 200 kilos, and it is quite a job to get them closed. On the other hand, it feels like closing a vault, and you're almost as safe as your precious goods in a vault. We're here on a former airfield doing a special training like Mercedes is training the VIP drivers of the Guard. Because even if the car looks like a standard S-Class and is handled like a standard S-Class with the common Mercedes MBUX system, it drives a little different. Yes, the engine is very powerful, but the car is also very heavy. And you might come into situations where you need all the power and all the agility, and that's what you train here. For example, in maneuvers like that, where you have to handle that tank pretty easily. And yes, your jacket might crumple during these maneuvers, and you might feel a little bit warm underneath your shirt. But if you compare that with the risks you're conquering, That is a task and a price you're willing to pay with an ease. It is pretty impressive what this car is capable of. We're talking about 4.4 tons. That's twice the weight of a Maybach limousine. But on the other hand, we're talking about a V12 engine with 6 liters of displacement and 612 horsepower. So the car accelerates pretty quick and it handles pretty light, which is kind of ironic if you compare the weight. The next stage is a maneuver with a flat tire on a wet surface, just to see how the car even handles under these severe conditions. Driving with 80, braking, trying to keep the car in line, and going off the skid pad without any harm and without leaving room for an aggressor. We're deep in the heart of the Sindelfingen plant where Mercedes is building the S-Guard. And this production line has nothing in common with the Factory 56 where the actual S-Class is produced. The Factory 56 is the most modern factory Mercedes has in its production network. And this is more like a workshop that we know from 20-30 years ago. No robots, just some lifting aids, lots of manpower, lots of craftsmanship, and lots of time. While the sequence for the S-Class production is usually 90 seconds, here the workers have 400 minutes to complete one task before the car is moved to the next station. That means not 1.5 days like the standard S-Class, 16 days it will take until the car is finished. And that's only the mechanical finish. Until it rolls off the line and goes to the customer, it almost takes 50 days. So lots of manpower, lots of work, lots of time, and no robots at all. Thanks for joining me on that first ride with the new Mercedes S680 Guard and for taking a short peek into the life of the very important people. For sure, a very fascinating experience. But do I want to swap with these people? I doubt, because once you need a car like that, you definitely have severe problems and risks I don't want to take. And talking about the money for that vehicle, sure, it is a very expensive vehicle, costs more than €500,000, dollars, whatever currency you like to put on it. Protecting your life should be worth that. And it's the same like with a life insurance. Hell of a money, but happy you don't need it.